Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, on my monthly readings what I tend to do is I premeditate on the cards, so that then allows me to do my little bit of added poetry at the end. Today I'm going to be using a combination of Colette Baron Reid's decks of the Good Tarot, and the other deck I'll be using is the Wisdom of the House of Night, so I'll just drop those links below. I'll also be doing a random pull at the end with the Moon Goddess affirmation cards by Terri Foss, so that's what I'll be doing there. So I'm just going to move this card out the way, so that I'll keep that till last because that's got the poetry a little bit on it, and I'm going to be reading for the sign of Cancer. So without further ado guys, I'll just get straight into the reading for you. So the first two cards I pulled out, I had the King of Air and it came out with Four of Water. So I'll just place those there a second. And I always try and do two sides of the coin on my readings. So I tend to do sort of a general side, picking up along the lines of a general sort of theme, and then I do try and look at a romantic side of the coin as well. So I'm going to start with the general side at the moment. So what I felt with the two cards that came out, I felt like I was picking up with some Cancers who had been working for quite some time for a company, an organisation, whatever that would be. But I do feel if it's not already happening, as in the process that you're aware of, but I just feel that there's you've got some of you may know what's going on here, but I do feel that there's a company that's been going for quite a long time, and you've worked there for them quite some time, because looking at the Four of Water, it just shows you quite established really. That you've been sort of in this position for quite some time, getting your material things around you. That's been like your main income in this job. But I do feel this organisation is going to be closing its doors, because in the card of King of Air, there's a doorway here and it's like a closed door. So and obviously looking at the King of Air, established element about it, it's like the business has had to be it's having to be wind down, whether it's gone into receivership along those lines. But it's just saying, this is what I'm picking up on the first reading for yourselves guys. But it's like I say, it's a job you've been doing now for quite some time. So you have been in this job for quite a number of years really. So then the obedience card came out with the patience card. So I wasn't sort of looking at the words so much. It's about the actual picture in this guys, because it's like it could be a sort of scenario where you sort of had an underlying thought that the business was struggling, but they haven't actually come out with the announcement yet. Or as I said, this could be actually what some of my Cancers are going through now, and it was just a shock really. The announcement was such a shock that people didn't sort of see it coming to a complete shut up shop, closed door scenario. That I think there was an offer on the table to see whether the business could be bought out. But like I say, a lot of the work organisation were quite blinded and not really fully focused of what was going on. So it was a sort of waiting game here. But I do feel, like I say, this is a place what's been going for quite some time, quite established, and it's just a sorry state of affairs that it's had to close its doors. Because on here there's like a clock here, so obviously I feel like it's a job where you sort of had to clock in and clock out. That kind of like a manufacturing company that made things or produced things. So it's obviously left the workforce contemplating really of what's going to happen, as in with your redundancy payments, etc. But obviously I do feel that whoever's been running this business will make sure that the staff come out with what is their entitlements, because I just feel the Fraud of Water here, it's just like making sure you get what's yours and what's owed to you with the closure of this business. So I'm just going to open it up a little bit more for you guys. So I've got the Emperor with the self-worth. Now, obviously, as a company is going into liquidation, or whether they've got the receivers in or anything like that, it's obviously worrying times, isn't it? Because people think to themselves, I need to find another job now because this place is shutting down, and you then have to sort of decide then your own skills and abilities again, because if you've been there for quite a number of years, then you're sort of doubting your self-worth then, am I going to be employable? If you've worked there and you're sort of in your late 50s, then you've got all these worries and concerns, thinking, well, I feel quite vulnerable now. This is what I think with the self-worth. So it's an image of vulnerability. But it's just saying with the Emperor card, it's saying here that we have to be aware that sometimes in life, things come in, like the Tower movements, like on the tarot with the Tower card. The universe comes in at a point where it has to break things down, demolish things in our lives, close things down for us to then move along to the next path, path of our journey in life, of where we're supposed to be. So yeah, like I say, it could be, a worrying time. Some of you may have not seen this coming, with the organisation. It's been a shock as it's gone up on the notice board that, guys, you don't need to come back into work tomorrow. We're shutting up shop. It's gone into receivership. And then you've got all these worrying elements. But it's basically saying this has happened for a reason, and always try and embrace here, because obviously the card of self-worth, with the self-embrace. Embrace the change, okay? Because like I say, with the Emperor card here, I do feel this company will make sure, with the winding down of the company, you're all going to be, you'll all get what's entitled to you with regards redundancy payouts, and everything will be done above board. Because I do feel it was a well-respected company. This place was, and it's just a sad state of affairs with the way the economy is going in the world today, that a lot of companies, this family, because I do feel it was more like a family-orientated workplace, what's been going on for years, and sometimes a member of that family can pass on, and then the rest of the family have to say, well, the main person of this business now has passed away. We can't, afford now to carry the business on. And it could be along that, those lines, that you've worked for this like little family business. But then again, on the other side, it could be a large organisation, as I said, that that they've their order books have run dry, and they've had to, take stock of everything. And the receivers have come in and said, no, guys, you've got to shut the doors and do everything above board and make sure your employees are set off in the right direction. So, as I say, with the next cards that came out together was the Eight of Earth and the Seven of Fire. So, like I was saying before, with this closure and the breakdown of the work, you are going to be paid out of what you're being owed. So for a certain period of time, you've got that little bit of breathing space to allow you to wait to see what your next steps will be with the Seven of Fire energy. And like I was saying, I always look at this card as opportunities coming in to you from the universe. So whereas you've been unseated, I always see this like as ourselves being unseated out of, out of position. So where you've lost control of this one position that you've, that I feel that you've been doing for quite a number of years here with the, the well-established person. It's been your livelihood for quite some time. But knowing that the universe will be sending in other opportunities for you, okay? So as I said, when one door closes, another one opens, and sometimes it can be fated for us, and it's just to, like I say, embrace a positive with the negative aspect, what's going on. So I had the next cards was Vision and Page of Air, and with the Vision card, some of my cancers out there may have been aware, may have been, you've all been put, been told up front exactly what's going on. So you sort of had a vision that, you've got to go and look for another job, and you have taken that in your stride. And with the Page of Air, some of my cancers have embraced this as a positive change. And the realisation of, yeah, okay, I've worked there for a good number of years. I've come out of it, with my redundancy money, because I do feel that it's all going to be done above board, as I said. So you've got this little bit of breathing space here, which is the Page of Air. This is what I'm feeling. It's having that breathing space to actually now start looking for something that, would just basically start looking for something that you really want to pursue now, because you've been put into this situation. Actually finding a job or going back to education to learn new skills and abilities. Having this here, the Eight of Earth, also looks to me like strings to your bow. So it could be that you want to branch out now, because obviously this has forced you to reassess, as I said. So this could now be saying to you, you need to branch out now, and it's going to give you and allow you the breathing space, to put all your cards on the table and say, yeah, I quite fancy doing this sort of thing now. So then we had the Fortune's Wheel come out with Deceit. Now, the Deceit card, it's not like the normal interpretation of deceit here on a romantic level. I'm just looking, I'm not really looking at the words. It's more or less the picture. It's like a phoenix will rise from the ashes, okay? Because the company's closed down, that side of it's all, been finished with. And the Fortune's Wheel, again, is just fate playing a hand, guys. That time to move on. And this is like, there's a face here looking through a portal, okay? And there's a heart above this card. Like, it's just a message to say, okay, this has all been wound up now. I've been directed to look at, focusing on what I want to do with the next part of my life, job-wise. So it's assessing, like looking through a window of opportunity. Okay, so you've been given a window of opportunity, Cancer. And then, with this card here, it's not about the deceit in this. As I said, it's the picture, really. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So it's to take on board, guys, embrace this change, because it's like the Wheel of Fortune, isn't it? It's like, it's like a gear. It's like a gear shift. So you've been shifted now into another direction, and a favourable one at that, because all the stars here. So, as sad as it was, because you've been there for quite some time, I feel, in this organisation, take it as a positive, because it's giving you the opportunity now, a window of opportunity. There's a new world out there waiting for you to go in, and even if you've got to take on some new learning skills here, it's just to say, to embrace that you can actually go now and go and do something for what you love, follow something that you love. So that's what I'm getting there on the one side of the coin. So I'm just going to collect these cards up again because, as I said, I like to try and get a double spin on these really. So I'm going to just collect them up and then we'll look at it from a romantic point of view. So starting with the first two cards then, on the romantic side, I feel that there's some of my Cancers out there who've got a feeling that there's something going on behind closed doors with a partner. Okay, now this is you here, and this is the other party, that, you know, your partner, who you're in the relationship with. Okay, now this is you, a bit blinded here, but this blindfold is starting to come, you know, to fall away. And again, we've got the locked door here. So I do feel that some of my Cancers are getting this awareness around them. I do feel it's an awareness that their significant other, okay, here, there's been some underhanded, you know, there's been like a third element. Basically, they've just been going off with somebody behind your back. Can't say it any, you know, clearer than that really. And it's showing them here, this is like your relationship here, okay, that they're sort of like holding to the fact that, you know, that they're thinking, you know, I can't sort of let the cat out the bag. I've got to be so careful in protecting my relationship. So that's the element I feel here with them. Even though, as I said, they've been doing things behind your back, because it's like a swirl of emotion here. And they obviously know it's a, you know, it's been going on for a while, but they're so careful and not letting the cat out the bag. That's what I want to say. They don't want to let the cat out the bag, obviously, but you're sort of getting this sixth sense now that you feel like there's been things in the relationship that you haven't felt right, little signs that you've picked up really as well. So with the obedience card, okay, again, this is showing that you've been a bit blinded to what's been going on behind the scenes, and you've got, you know, you've had your partner on a, you know, you've put them on a pillar really, had them on a pedestal, never really thinking that they could ever do anything behind your back. But now you're on this guarded defence vibe really, you know, contemplating here. You know, you've got this sensation that, you know, there is something going on, and I feel like this is you here, you know, totally consumed in thought of, well, how long has it been going on? Again, I'm referring to the clock here, in the picture. It's like a realisation of, really, you know, have I been so blinded to the fact that I didn't know this was going on right underneath my nose, sort of thing. So as we open it up a little further here, like with the Emperor and the self-worth, then it's something that's going to come to the surface. Okay, so where this is you here as the Emperor, and this is them. So this is you. This is you just oblivious really to what's been going on, and this is them. Now I do feel that they have been starting to feel some guilt, right, in what they've been doing behind your back. But I do feel like I say, I do feel that this is going to come to a surface, and you are going to basically confront them and say, look, I need to know. I've picked up signs that, you know, I just want the honest truth here. Have you been seeing somebody else? Okay, because I do feel that is them there, but I do feel they've been having some guilt. It's coming to the surface here with this Four of Water, that they have been having some guilty feelings here. It's like a realisation, guys, really, that they've been holding this relationship with you and you know, it's so precious to them, and they've been a little bit foolish. They've just been a little bit foolish in just doing something, you know, behind your back that they're regretting now. I just feel it was like just a mad moment of passion, really, that they've got themselves entangled with. Spur of the moment, you know, stupid act. On the one side, I mean, it could be that the fact that it has been going on for a while, and you know, this is where you've been getting the feelings. But I do feel this is them as like the guilt, really. It's like that they're actually feeling regrets of what of their actions, to, you know, of what's gone on. So as we've got the 7 of fire, then right, with the 8 of earth. Oops, the 8 of earth actually, followed by the 7 of fire. This here, it's because they feel guilty, okay? Because as I said, they're in a very materialistic relationship with you. That they're sort of never wanted. You've never, you know, they've never wanted anything. You've always provided for them, and they realise with the 7 of fire, you know, they could actually jeopardise now this relationship. You know, they've unseated themselves out of a relationship that really they did hold as precious to them, but by this stupid thing that they've done in going behind your back, that could jeopardise all this now, and this is what I'm feeling here. So let's just put these back down on there, and we'll carry on with the vision card, and the page of air. This is what I feel again is their energy, okay? Because as I say, I do feel that in the relationship they were in with you, they didn't, like I say, they didn't need anything. They had every need, every want. You know, you totally looked after them fully. They never wanted for anything. But then they've had this vision, you know, this exciting thing where they thought, you know, they went off. As I say, they do regret it now, of what's gone on. So it was just like I feel it could have been like they went away, whether it was a business trip or they went away with, you know, with a couple of close friends, and it got into that situation where they were having a laugh and a joke in, you know, in a bar or whatever situation, and it was just a drunken, fueled, one-off, passionate, you know, one-night stand, silly thing that they've sort of, you know, regretted, and after, you know, it's been eating away at them. So there's like 2 elements to this. There could be some of my cancers where things have been going on behind closed doors for quite some time, and it's just surfacing, and you're realising, and you're confronting, okay? And then there could be this other element of somebody who absolutely loves you, and it's just this foolish, stupid, one night stand, regretful of what's going to be, you know, told to you, because you are on either side of the coin, guys. You are going to confront your partners and say, I know something's been going on now, come on, I want the truth of what's going on. So this is their energy, I feel. So, and I do feel it's, you know, they will say, you know, I'm desperately sorry, you know, deeply sorry of what's gone on. And with the Wheel of Fortune, well, the Fortune's Wheel and the Deceit card, then the Deceit card here on this side then does actually fit in with what, you know, what's actually gone on. This is them again. This is their energy, where they feel, you know, have I burnt my bridges here in this relationship for doing this foolish, stupid thing? And yet it was deceitful, but it wasn't intentional. This is the one where I feel it was like the one night stand, stupid, drunken mates type of thing, and just went from one, just escalated along as it you know, as it would. But then this Wheel of Fortune here This is you here. This is you here having to make a decision as to whether you allow their sorries, you know, their I promise I won't do it again, I love you. And it's your acceptance of their apology to move forward, okay? To actually move forward. Or on the other side, if this has been going on behind closed doors and they've taken you for a ride, and even though they are feeling guilty, it's, you know, by asking the question and they're there, it could be they have burnt the bridges with you because you can't see a future with them. It's like you're looking into the future here, in this instance, on that situation, and it's like, I can't see a future for us. You know, you've been doing this now. It's been going on for, you know, 18 months. What do you take me for? I'm not, you know, I'm not your fool. So on that side, because like I say, with having the self-worth, I'll just do there's two sides here. There's the, you know, there's a large heart and a small heart, and the large one is obviously the person who had the wild one night passionate stand and fully you know, regrets it. And then the smaller heart is, well, really, you know, I fell out of love with you, and I know, yeah, I have been having an affair for 18 months, 2 years, you know, so I, you know, burn the bridges, and we're, you know, you just basically split up then. But then on the other side, as I said, with the person who's with the sorries and felt so you know, so much regret of what they did because they do love you, then I do feel, you know, on that side, then the love can be reconnected and you can move forward together. So that's what I pick up there, Cancer. It's, you know, it's not going to resonate with everybody, but I do try and get two sides of the coin with my readings where I can. So I'm just going to shuffle the affirmation cards now just to see what we have here, just to tie these up. So we've got, yeah, two sides, as I said, the element with the business and what have you, and then this little bit of a scenario with these housewives. Capers of housewives, oh dear, dear, dear. Or whoever that may be, obviously, but yeah. Right then, let's have a look what we've got here. And I'm going to go for that one there. So let's have a quick look what comes out. And we've got, I embrace the higher power of the universe. Now, I'm not so bothered about the words, because I always like to look at these cards as the actual artwork on them. So with the first scenario, with the company closing down, okay, it just it sort of just covers what I said about it's going to allow you time now. It's going to allow you this breathing space, guys, to take your skills and abilities, and if you need to go and retrain, or, you know, go to night school or learn something, or just, it's basically just branching out here, because obviously with the branches, branching out into a new area of work for you. And it's just to say, you know, just go with the flow, really. Well, guys, that was a bit spooky. I was sitting here carrying on with the reading and it just went bang. Well, I think a bang, but the lights just went poof. So there was a bit of a power cut there then, but luckily it didn't last too long. So we'll carry on, shall we? So maybe that's something to do with the full moon in Pisces or something, having some tricks on me today. But yeah, so I was saying, wasn't I, before we had the lights completely go out on me. So yeah, I was saying on the work side then, it's just basically allowing you that time, guys, to branch out and do now what is passionate for you in your next adventure along the job process. And then on the situation with the relationship then, it's just going to be on the one side, as I said, you know, it can be completely to the fact that because it's been going on for so long, and then you've realised now that there's no more room to grow here in this relationship. It's actually died. Because if we look at the tree here, this is obviously symbolising winter, you know, where things transform, change, and the old leaves die off, and we're just left with bare branches. And that's what I feel on the one side now, Cancer, that you've just felt to the fact that this relationship's got to the bare branches here. It's dead. It can't move on further. You can't stop with somebody who you know doesn't love you anymore. So it's just a transition for you. It's actually a transition for you to realise what's gone on there, and then just to cut the dead wood, you know, because that relationship is over by cutting the dead wood. Now, on the other scenario where I said that the person, you know, felt so much guilt and it's been eating them away, you know, it's been eating them away in their mind. That's what I want to say. Eating them away in the mind of what they did, you know, having to bottle that guilt up. You know, it's allowed it to come out and you to apologise. You know, listen to the apologies from your partner. And on that scenario, then I feel like you can let that go. You can let that go and accept their apology. So in this instance, on that side of the coin, it's to say yes. You know, I can allow that to pass, and then we can go into the another new season starts, doesn't it? You know, after the winter, you know, the spring and everything starts blossoming again. And that's what I feel. It's like, it's all come out into the open. You've accepted the apology, and now you can allow your relationship to continue to grow on that side. So that's what I get there. So I'm just going to read you my poetry now, guys, because as I said at the start of the video, I premeditate on these cards. I shuffle them. They come out as they whatever way they do on here today, and then I'll just put some poetry words just to put it as a collective at the end of my reading. So for you, Cancer, I've got: when one door shuts, another one opens. The universe's way of making you see the relationship or job that you were tied to no longer serves you, so breaks you free. In being put on the right path, so do not worry, just go with the flow. In order to embrace better things in life, we have to learn to let old patterns go. So on either side of the coin then there, when one door shuts, another one opens, with the work closing down, and then obviously you having to find another job situation, and it's the universe's way of putting us and directing us on the next chapter of our journey. And again, what no longer serves us, it breaks us free, and that goes with the relationships. You know, you either make the decision, Cancer, that you take the apology off your partner, and there's enough love there for you both to rise from the phoenix from the ashes, or on the other side, it's about burning bridges. You know now that partner doesn't love you anymore, and you've got to move on. It's cutting the dead wood out your life and moving on from there. So I'm just going to tie up the end of the reading. I've got a little bag of charms here because I try and do different elements on my readings just to make them a little bit different. So to finish off then, my lovely Cancers, I'm just going to have a little charm pull here and see what comes out for you. So I'll have a good rummage around. And I've got a cross here. Now, obviously, this here, I'm not going to go on the religious side of things, because obviously some people don't even believe in certain aspects. But this is a crossroads to me. This is symbolising a crossroads for both sides of the coin here. So with the work element, you've come to a crossroads where you need to decide now, your next port of call with your work aspect, and then a crossroads with the love side of things, as do you carry on now, going straight on, with it all in the open, and you can patch things up and move on, or is it a crossroads where, as I said, the relationship's ended and you move on and that's dead and buried sort of thing. So yeah, guys, I hope, Cancer, you can take something from that reading today. Like I say, it's not going to be for everybody, and I can only give the messages and stories out from what I'm downloaded. So I just hope someone, can take this. And if you can, then any comments below, I'd be grateful for, because as you know, I've only been on YouTube now for about 3 months, and I'm just thankful for the subscribers so far, so thank you for that. So my lovely Cancers, my lovely little water babies, I hope you have a lovely October, and I'll look forward to reading to you without any power cuts, I hope, on the next time. So take care. Thanks then. Bye.